Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part number 6 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. And in this episode, since we have finished everything, all of our inventories are looking perfectly fine. In fact, quite well. We have all the weapons and items on all of our characters we need, including characters we're not going to be seeing for quite a while, like Marty, poor guy, and Finn, all these folks. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and seize this chapter. Now, I will say one thing. Apparently, you don't have to take everything off of Avel. Apparently, she has the ability to just have all of her items in her inventory removed off of her, which is pretty convenient if that's the case, but I've never tried that or done it, and I've never cared to see if that's the case. If it is, that would be kind of convenient, but oh well. It was a hard-fought victory, but we've taken control of Kerberos Gate. Nicely done. I'm impressed. Truly. Such a shame to spoil your moment, but I must ask you to drop your weapons. Otherwise, I'll have to do something very ugly to this very pretty young woman. Nana? Raydrik, you soulless parasite.
Run, Lord Lief. Don't worry about me.
Damn. Fine. Fine, I said. I'm putting my weapons down, so keep your hands off Nana. Ah, see, the young pup knows how to heal. Men, move in and chain the good Prince Lief. Then fan out and seize the rest of his sources.
Damn, little Lief got himself captured? Well, two can play at that game. I'm going in and waving the white flag. No doubt they'll arrest me too. I'll do what I can to protect the little lord from the inside. The rest of you, hightail it out of here and make ready to rescue him.
I suppose this was inevitable. We have no choice but to retreat. Hold out for as long as you can, Lord Lief. On my honor, I will come for you.
Damn it, Lief. Nothing to be done about it now, I guess. We're coming after you, so don't you dare go dying first, you hear?
Well, we lasted until now. No one can say we didn't give it our all.
God above, watch over the prince.
Damn it all. The prince let himself get captured? Can't much stand it myself, but for now I've no choice but to head back to Mount Vale Drake. This ain't the end, though. I'll round up my whole crew and we'll storm Munster.
Chapter 4. Moving on. Now in Raydrik's clutches, Lief was detained and taken to Munster by Imperial soldiers. Once Castle Munster had been Leonster's vassal and trusted ally. Now it was governed by the conquerors of North Thracia, House Frege, who had been installed as rulers by the Granvale Empire. Raydrik himself had once been a general of the Kingdom of Connaught, but colluded with the Empire during the war. For that service, he was made Baron of Munster. While still subordinate to Lord Bloom, head of House Frege, Raydrik was entrusted with the day-to-day management of Munster. Lief would now see firsthand what kind of sordid affairs the man was up to. Chapter 4. Imprisoned.
Without a doubt, this feat will secure my position in Munster and beyond. Dawson, see that the brat doesn't so much as blink before the Knights of Connaught come to claim him.
Aye, sire.
It's high time to celebrate with a visit to the arena. You woman, you'll be accompanying me.
Why me?
I assumed you would want to see the other girls, but if you wish to spit on my generosity...
Other girls? You mean Marita and Nana?
I believe those are their names, yes. Never fear, I haven't laid a finger on them. I've been keeping them quite comfortable.
Are you really gonna let me see them?
You have my word.
Fine. Lead the way.
Ah, how old-fashioned, leading the way for such a fine lady.
This is it. Asbel and I will locate the children, but I want the rest of you to go down to the prison and free everyone locked up there. Brighton, you're in charge.
Yes, sir. Once we've released these poor souls, we'll rendezvous with you.
God willing, we'll all meet again. Fortune be with you.
We're counting on you, Laura. Think you can handle this? Uh-huh. No lock is gonna stand in my way, just watch my back, okay?
Even if someone were to get past us, you could grab their weapons, no problem.
Not if they're too heavy, I can't.
Then be glad
Me and Brighton are here, eh? Come on, let's go.
Alright, so we have a slew of characters to talk about in this chapter, and to hopefully get to know a little bit better before we go into this headlong. Let's make sure that these guys have regular movement, and they do. Alright, so first and foremost, our unit that we are going to speak of is Brighton. He's an axe knight, which means he's dismounted. As you can see, his axe is quite grayed out, so he can only use the iron sword and the steel sword right now. With a follow-up critical modifier of 1, and getting a support from his wife, Matcha, which she is not actually getting that same support back, so it's not mutual. Very unfortunately, it's more again akin to how Dagdar is with Tanya. He's just the protector, just like Brighton is the protector over his wife. This just makes sense. It's wonderful. I love it. Beautiful how that Kaga was able to take storytelling and game design and mesh those things together. I just love it. Now, Brighton is not that bad of a unit, but he does have some issues. For one, his bases are not all that great. For 2, he's dismounted, so he can't even use his primary weapon type. And for 3, he has some hit problems in this chapter. And some damage problems. You kind of need him to have the steel sword on, but it has 5 less hit than the iron sword, so we have to rely on that. Now, he has some pretty respectable growth rates, 70% HP, 30% strength, 5% magic, 25% skill, 30% speed, 15% luck, 35% defense, 20% con, and 1% movement. He's actually a pretty fantastic unit. I've used him on several occasions, outside of the Munster escape arc especially, and he turned out pretty well. And part of that has to do with more than just what is seen here on his utility. Now, he doesn't have a Vigor Star, but as you can see, he has 5 movement. Now, that is because, as I said, mounted units receive a nerf to their stats. He would increase in several of these stats, as well as he would get +3 movement upon mounting. Now, his affiliation is the Magi Squad, so the Magi Squad is just these 3 units right here, whereas the rest of the units in here are a part of Lief's army. So he has some interesting weapon ranks here. He has D rank in sword with 0 in weapon experience points. So he's actually quite far off of being that C rank benchmark. You can get him there, it's not impossible. And he is already at C rank +10 in axes. So in my humble opinion, it is far more worth to get him to C rank sword as soon as you possibly can. The only problem with that is he has to be dismounted to do so. So that's kind of unfortunate. This is not the character I was talking about needing the Brave Axe. He does have Wrath, however. If enemy attacks first, the user's counterattack will be a critical hit. We've seen this skill be quite effective on Ocean. This is one of the things that saves his combat, even though his combat is kind of lackluster, seeing he doesn't have that great of hit. Unfortunately, only in the first part of this chapter, when he faces both of these 2 units, will he have the support of his wife. She is going to be moving elsewhere throughout the rest of this chapter. Firstly and foremostly, however, we are going to be taking off his iron sword and giving him a vulnerary. And the reason why is because he needs that vulnerary. He's going to be seeing combat on both of these 2 units, as well as he's going to be fighting both of these 2 units by himself and this unit by himself. The only unit that Matra is going to be fighting is this one. And so we got to hope that Matra defeats him as soon as possible because Matcha and Laura are just not well equipped to fight him. We do have chest. So what happens in this chapter is that there are 4 regular items in this chapter. I believe there is a rapier, a javelin, a vulnerary, and I always forget what the 4th item is. I think it's a steel sword. I'm pretty sure it's a steel sword. And then whatever is on the inventories of both Lief and Lithus when you enter this chapter will go into chest in this chapter. So you can have up to 14 chests in this chapter outside of those 4. You do not want that at all. This chapter is incredibly difficult. There are reinforcements that come from these 2 squares, these 2 squares, and these 2 squares. They start around turn 6 or 7, maybe 8, I'm not entirely sure in that, but they don't stop until turn 64, and you will get highly overwhelmed. So you want to block those reinforcement spots as fast as you possibly can, as well as, especially on the east and the west, because our goal here is to actually release all 6 of these green units and have them go out to the east and west without being captured or killed. And the reason being is because if we do that, we get 4X, the Gaiden chapter that comes after this, and you absolutely want that chapter. There is not a doubt in my mind. You're going to be lacking if you miss out on that chapter, and you'll see why once we get there. With all that being said, we're going to go ahead and set up this first turn. I will be resetting if Brighton does not KO here. He absolutely has to KO both of these units. I'm going to go ahead and trade that vulnerary over to him, leave her there, and leave Laura there. She could have gone here, which would have been better, but it doesn't matter. She's only needing to reach this door on the next turn, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, with that being said, we do have a couple more units to talk about. We have Fergus, a sword knight. So he has swords, both mounted and dismounted. It's very funny that it shows like the grayed out swords, though he uses swords both mounted and dismounted. It's great. Now, of course, he comes with no weapon because we're all in prison. There's only 3 exceptions to that rule, apparently, and we'll see those in a minute. But he has a follow-up critical modifier of 5, the highest that you possibly can get. It's very well coveted, and that means that even right now, with that 17 crit he has a humongous 85 critical. That's insanity. Now, he has pretty respectable growth rates, 65 HP, 35% strength, 10% magic, 45% skill, 35% speed, 40% luck, 25% defense, 20% con, and 1% movement. I love this unit. He is one of my favorite units in this entire game because he is fantastic both mounted and dismounted. He uses his swords well. He is a part of Lief's army, of course, and no authority star, but he does have 1 vigor star, which is awesome. 5 movement because he's getting that 3 movement nerf. And he has C rank in swords with plus 30, so he's actually very close to B rank. That's the only other benchmark worth getting with swords is B rank. Now, A rank does give you some other things. It's not useless, but B rank is the most important second benchmark for swords. So he's pretty close to that. Once he gets there, he can use the Brave Sword and the Flame Sword and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty useful. We need him to get there as soon as possible. And you can see he actually has a support going on here. That support is a mutual support he shares with Karen. They recently just met, yet they have a support. It's pretty cool. It's basically like they've fallen for each other already, and we'll see that soon. Karen has a follow-up critical modifier of 1, and she's a Pegasus rider. That means she's dismounted. She has to use swords instead of lances, because Pegasus riders use lances. She has pretty darn good growth. 55% HP, 30% strength, 15% magic, 35% skill, 70% speed and luck, 15% defense, 5% con, 2% movement. I love this unit. I love her just as much as Fergus. I use them both pretty much equally well almost all the time in almost every run I do because she's just got great utility. He's got great utility. She's got great bases. Look at these bases. This is her dismounted. She has 7 magic. She can resist all the magical attacks in the world, and once she gets up to B-rank swords, she can use magical swords too, which would be fantastic. 12 speed and luck? and she has a 70% in both of those growths. Like, she's going to get those in no time. Pretty fantastic. She is great dodge, great avoid. She's just a good all-around unit, and she is not promoted. So she is a base level 1. These are her base stats. Like, honestly, this is pretty darn exceptional, in my opinion. Now, she has no Vigor Star, and she is getting that nerf to her movement also, but she comes with a D rank in swords and an E rank in lances, D rank plus 20 and E rank plus 40. This is very interesting, because this means that she has had more combat dismounted than she has had mounted, which I do believe that is very good for her, because that means that she's close to C rank, relatively. She has 30 more weapon experience points to go to and get that. Now, in reality, there are no major benchmarks to hit with lances besides D, because even though there are C rank killer lances, and then there are much higher rank weapons like silver lances and stuff like that that are very important to use later on in game, the reality is that you kind of only want D rank if you want to use like iron, steel, javelins, stuff like that. Stuff that she's going to use and not really care about whether or not she has better. Karen is not really a combative unit first, in my opinion. She's more of a utility unit. We'll see that later on in later chapters. But she can do combat pretty well, especially if you get her B rank in swords. So I kind of push her sword rank more than anything for like the indoor chapters, but you do have to work on her lance rank too, because if you want her to use any good lances in this game, she has a long uphill battle. Brave Lance is exclusive to Finn, so she's never going to get that. With that being said, those are our units, and that is our turn. We're going to go ahead and see what happens here.
Damn it, Lady Luck is so fickle.
Hey, hold on. You're that Lief fella, ain't you? Aren't you a boss of a Hulk Crew of pirates or something on the Corsair Isles, right?
Huh? Oh, yeah, but,
Thought so. Ha! You look just like the guy in all them wanted posters.
Isn't that something? Guess I'm famous. Huh. Maybe I can make use of these idiots.
What? Did I say something wrong? You got this look on your face.
Truth be told, I'm fixing to bust my way out of here.
What? You could pull something like that off?
Think about it, genius. Once my crew knows I'm locked up, what do you think they'll do? Not waltz up and ask nice for the Empire to let me go, that's for sure. In fact, I'll bet my boys are scoping this place out right now. So since I'll be saying goodbye to the rest of you before long, let's make nice for now, eh?
Really? Then you gotta take me with you, boss.
Huh? Well, if you can pull your own weight, I'll think about it.
You mean it, boss? Leave it to me. Ain't no soldier gonna stand in our way, that's for sure. With us, sir. If in all that's true, let me come along too. Me 3.
Played like a fiddle. All 3 of them. After we're busted out, I'll have a whole new opportunity on my hands.
Alright, come on, Brighton. You have to hit both of these. Okay, he hit one. Awesome. You have to hit the other. Yes, awesome. He hit them both. That's one of the biggest hurdles you have to reach over in the start of this chapter. It's not the biggest in this chapter, but in the start of this chapter, yes. You absolutely need Brighton to make some hits.
Huh? Folk are getting real lively all of a sudden. So what are you in for, kid?
And you are?
Fergus, the sellsword, at your service. And I'm this close to being done with Jugdrill, let me tell you. Saw a bunch of soldiers making trouble for a young lass, so I stepped in. Got arrested for the effort. Terrible story, really.
Oh, please, you didn't just try to stop them. You beat one of them half to death. That's the terrible story here.
Wait just a darn minute. You were the one who started it.
Yeah, and they arrested me because they thought I helped you nearly kill that guy. This is on you, not me, so what are you going to do about it?
I'm going to take a nap, that's what. Hey, you got to learn to take the good with the bad, you know? Just wake me when it's mealtime.
I don't even care anymore. Oh, Sorry, I'm Karen, by the way.
Karen? That's an unusual name for a Thracian.
That's because I'm not Thracian, I'm from Celeste. I'd just gotten into town when I got in trouble thanks to this dimwit.
Celeste? That's far north of here, if memory serves. Why come all the way here from Celeste?
Our prince up and left the country, that's why. The queen passed away and the princess is too young to take the throne, so people don't know who to turn to. I came here to look for our little runaway prince.
I'd heard that the kingdom of Celeste had been overthrown by the Empire. How is it that the royal family is still alive?
The rebels have been keeping them safe. Everyone still willing to fight has gathered in the city of Tofa, where they've rallied around the royal family. Me, I'm gonna become a Pegasus Knight and lend them my lance.
Impressive. If you become a Pegasus Knight, you'll be able to dance through the skies.
Well, I can fly already, but I won't be doing aerial acrobatics like a knight anytime soon. Still, my Pegasus and I can already understand each other really well. His name's Hermes, and he's just the cutest thing you ever saw, with a brain to match. He's probably the one dancing through the skies right now, looking for me, that is.
So why did the prince leave Celeste in the first place?
It's a long story. The prince wanted to go look for the king, but the king's something of a flake himself. He also left Celeste years ago, abandoning his kingdom and family both. Everybody feels betrayed, and nobody expects the king to come back anytime soon. So we want Prince Ced to come back instead and take the throne. I was sent here to find him, but ended up jailed because of this mutton head.
Huh? What about mutton? Is it mealtime already? Oh, guess not. Can't you keep it down until then, at least? This is a prison, for crying out loud. It's not like anyone can escape all your yammering.
And it's not like anyone can escape your loud snoring either. Honestly, how can you sleep at a time like this? You are the most boorish and sensitive.
Hey, keep it down, you twits.
See? Even the Empire agrees with me. What's eating you, lad? You look awful upset. Might as well speak your mind, eh? Not like it could do any harm now. You're right. In fact, maybe you two can even help me. Awesome. So, yeah. Now we can go ahead and see if RNG is going to be our friend this time. Something interesting I did want to show before we move on is that these brigands that were just talking to Lithus all have their axes. Can somebody please tell me why these guys got to keep their axes, but we didn't get to keep our weapons and tools and items? Pretty funny, actually, in my opinion. And then we can move Laura right here. We cannot open up a door just yet because we do want that soldier to attack Matcha. Now, we didn't talk about Matcha or Laura, but we're going to do that next turn. All right, come on and crit. Yes, awesome, Brighton, and he's not even taking damage. Thank you, Brighton, thank you. It's so hard to get this guy to do anything useful. Well, when he's dismounted, that is. Hey, you all right over there, old lady? Don't you fret about me. I don't have much time left on this earth anyhow. It's me grandchildren I'm worried about. Hey, don't overdo it, lady. Look, just lie down, all right? Sheesh, the Empire even locks up sick old grandmas now? Looks like it. How long are they gonna get to throw their weight around doing whatever they please? You reckon the Magi folk have a chance of taking the Empire down? I don't know, maybe. I mean, they've gotta have a chance, right? And if they've got a chance, we've gotta believe in them. Their leader, Sir, said they call him the hero on the wind. Yeah, and he's earned that name. Before he showed up, the Magi had been all but wiped out by the Empire. Then he showed up and just look at how the Magi are doing now. The Empire keeps trying to grab hold of them, but they just keep lucking out. More in luck, maybe. That's why Sir Ced's a man worth believing in. Can't go wrong with a fellow like that. Alright, so now we can move Brighton right here. He needs to take out this guy next. And while we're at it, we can go ahead and talk about our next unit, Matcha. She is a Myrmidon, and an interesting one too, because she does not promote to a Swordsmaster, she promotes to a Hero. So that means she stays with her 6 movement, unfortunately. But she's got a follow-up critical modifier of 3, pretty darn good bases. You'd almost think that they're not really all that great, but in reality, they're quite good. And she even has good growth, 60% HP, 30% strength, 10% magic, 55% skill, 60% speed, 35% luck, 25% defense, 10% con, and 2% movement. She has no Vigor Star, and D plus 30 in Sword, so she's got that same situation as Lithus and Finn. They all can get to C rank pretty readily, pretty quickly. And she also comes with Vantage. User attacks first when the enemy initiates combat. You want to take advantage of that as much as you can. And then we have Laura, our only thief we would get for a very long time if you miss out on Lithus. So keep that in mind. Follow-up critical modifier of 1. Doesn't really matter though. She has a strength, magic, and defense stat of literally 0. And pretty interesting growth rates. 45% HP, 10% strength, 10% magic, 50% skill, 70% speed, 60% luck, 20% defense, 5% con, and 3% movement. Her growth rates are built as if she's in the wrong class, and hilariously enough, she actually gets a secret promotion later, and she changes classes completely. Now we're going to promote her anyway to Rogue, which is the Thief's next level, and then promote her again, so she's going to have pretty busted stats compared to most of our other units at a point. And I only do that specifically because it helps her survivability. Now she comes with 1 Vigor Star and 7 movement, as well as E rank in Swords. Oh my gosh, she doesn't even have anything going towards it. Now there's a couple of swords in this game, specifically one in which she can use that will really buff her viability completely, and we'll see that later. But for the time being, she's just a thief who has very terrible con and can't really hardly steal anything. She's really just here to be able to use that lockpick to open up doors and chests. She has the steal skill, which is, if user outspeeds a target, can steal an item with less weight than the user's con. We've seen this. It's good, it's great, it's fantastic, but she's not really going to be able to make very much use of this. Not very many items weigh less than 3 con, or less than 3 weight, I should say. In fact, there's hardly any. I think there's maybe a single sword that does. I know the slim sword does. Well, actually, if that's the case, I believe there might be one other sword. I think the rapier weighs either 4 or less con. If that's the case, she can't even steal those, which is kind of wild. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and attack this guy with our Matcha and the short sword. The short sword has the best hit out of all the weapons she has currently on her, so that's why we're using that. And we can go ahead and open up this door here. We're going to be opening up these chests, 2 chests apiece with each one of Matcha and Laura. And that's it for our turn. Let's hope Brighton KOs that knight. Oh my gosh, this is another RNG issue in this chapter. Okay, he hit him. Oh, and he KO'd. Awesome. Thank you, Brighton. You are doing a fantastic job. I could not have asked more from you, literally. Could not have asked more. And then we have some chests to open. So let's go ahead and do just that. Okay, we got our light brand. Awesome. So we got our Hazul Scroll and Vulnerary, which is really great. And then we're going to be able to open this chest with Matcha. That movement star was actually super incredibly useful, because next turn is the turn we're going to be able to open that door if this knight is dead next turn. So one can hope that that's exactly what is going to happen. Alright, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wait, and I think we can just end turn. Alright, so Brighton has to crit this guy in order to... Yep, okay. Awesome. even though he missed that hit, that's perfectly fine. He's still going to be able to double attack him on player phase, so we're good. We're good. This is beautiful. I haven't seen RNG in this chapter like this in a long time. All right, so with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and finish him off. Brighton, I wish I could give you a medal. Like, it sounds like I'm being dramatic, but if you've played this game for a long enough period of time... Ooh, Brave Axe. That's going to be nice. We're going to give both of those to Lief, actually. Oh, we can't even open the door yet. That's very unfortunate. Oh, well. Yep, so we're going to be able to give both those items to Lief. We're pretty close. Let's see. It's turn 6. Yeah, we're pretty close to when units are going to start coming in. We want to heal up Brighton. I'm so glad that Matcha did not take, like, any significant damage. Alright, so we can... This is kind of a bit of a shame here. It is kind of a bit of a shame. We can give over a couple of things. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to do this for the moment. Let's open this door. Boss, the door's open. It happened just like you said it would. What's the matter? Your crew came for you. Don't that perk you up? Lady Luck really is fickle. Somebody actually did come. Well, let it never be said that lying through your teeth doesn't work. Alright, so the reason why you want to hold off on opening this door is because you don't want these brigands to go after any of the soldiers or knights that are left over. Alright, so what we can do, we're going to get the lockpick over to me. We'll take the Hazul Scroll, the Iron Sword. We could even take the chest key. And then we'll trade you. We want to take that Lightbrand and Brave Axe because Matcha is not going to be going down with us. Okay. We didn't get a Vigor Star, unfortunately. But that's literally it for our turn right now. Alright, cool. So we have not had any reinforcements yet. They're coming very soon. But I actually think this is a perfect and wonderful opportunity for us to go ahead and say our farewells. I want to thank you for joining me, and if you like my content, please upvote and follow or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.